let me
Okay.
let me pitch a fake trade to you to close
Okay.
things off.
Well, I like this.
I do think I'm kind of on the mind that things aren't going to be super active this summer, but I think if you can turn Bruce Brown, plus like you got the Chris Boucher contract, you've got
Oh yeah.
31,
Right.
and like just take advantage of another team's situation and sort of telegraphed desires. I think there's maybe a deal here. The Brooklyn Nets,
Okay.
they are not very good. And
No.
this is not a Mikal Bridges trade. Don't worry. That would be fun, but he would be absolutely perfect. He
He
would
actually
make the
would be
team
really nice. Yeah.
really, really, really good.
Yeah.
You talk about a nice defensive wing who shoots threes. Boy, oh
Mm.
boy. But, sort of going further down the rung of wings the Nets employ. The Nets very clearly seem to want to line themselves up for cap space in 2025 to go and try to, get some more free agents because it's the only thing they know how to do, apparently. And they've got Cam Johnson making $23.5 million for the next 3 seasons. They've got Dorian
Okay.
Finney-Smith making $15 million for the next 2 seasons.
Mm.
Could you convince them to just get off of that money with Bruce Brown, Chris Boucher, and 31?
Wait, you're getting
And just
both?
say, you're getting both, but
They'll give you
both
both.
Brown and Boucher are coming off the books.
Uh-huh.
And they clear the decks. 2 guys who probably don't really matter all that much to their future. I think you could argue Cam Johnson's probably a little overpaid for what he is.
Sure.
I think he's a slight negative asset on that deal for 3 more years.
Mm.
But like 3-point shooting, competent-ish defense. Finney-Smith becomes a wing off the bench for you. Maybe there's more of a bidding war for those guys, especially Finney-Smith is someone who can help a contender, and so you got to drive up the price a little bit. But again, you can finagle the picks all you want, throw in future seconds or whatever. But I do think because the Nets very clearly have set up their books to go and pursue free agents next summer, giving them 34 million extra dollars in cap relief next summer might be something they jump at as a team without much direction or purpose going into next season. Would Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, even aside from the value, be of interest to you?
I mean, I like the idea of sort of like hitting up the Nets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Dorian Finney-Smith less so. I think for me, I think that number one that they can get more than I think they can get a first back for Dorian Finney-Smith, somebody who can.
He
be
was
a much
bad last year. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, like I think he's still like. Played a winning role for a winning program, is still young, under, cost controlled. And again, defensively, he really is somebody who can really step into a lot of situations. Again, very switchable as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Johnson on that contract, I agree, there's not too much value on that necessarily, unless he takes another jump. I know he's pretty fond of Darko.
Mm-hmm.
Darko worked a lot with him when he was a rookie in Phoenix. And all that kind of stuff. Seen them like interact quite a bit, like when Brooklyn was in town, for example, stuff like that. As you can imagine, Darko's pretty popular with players. Yeah, but I mean, there's certainly certain players who are like, oh, there's clearly a relationship there. I think if you were able,
if only Desmond Bain were on the team, if only they had an opportunity to have Desmond Bain on the team.
The Nemhard of 4 years ago or 5 years ago now. Yeah, I guess if you bring in Cam Johnson, then you can at least move on from maybe even Gary, I think, at that point.
Sure.
But again, like, what are you shuffling all this stuff around just to get Cam Johnson?
I think it's like you've got Bruce and Boucher anyway. If you can parlay them into a guy who maybe isn't perfect, but fits the team you have a little bit more and gives you something you need, which is someone taller than 6'5" who can also shoot. Like,
no, I think he's certainly somebody who can contribute to the rotation. But then at that point, you will look at the contracts and. I guess you factor in Scotty getting the extension, so he'd be probably like not the full max in terms of like the super max, but regular max for Scotty. You would get Quickley at like 30 and RJ at around 30. Yeah, it's not terrible, but like
it's not the final.
It does seem long-term wise he's competing with Grady for those minutes. Right. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he would step into the starting lineup. How much of an upgrade is he over Gary, for example?
I just think size-wise, it's like it's a nice thing to have someone who's 6'8" and not 6'5".
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And like I think he's a slightly better defender. He's not like amazing or anything like that, but it's not sexy, like, it's not perfect, but it kind of helps the roster be a little deeper in sort of usable guys and guys who are sort of more needed positionally than Bruce Brown might be.
So, no, it's doable. I like this. I like this. Usually when you're like I feel like I'm close, but like, you know, like I still got to consider this a little bit more. That's usually when you have like a trade that's actually feasible. It's not like a slam dunk, like, yes, absolutely. But yeah.
Look, I'm really good at fake trades. Everyone knows this. It's the one thing I'm
No,
good at. I got Quickley on the Raptors just by fake trading it into existence. All right.
There you go.
We can leave it there on a high note of me being really, really good at fake trades. Cam Johnson coming to a Toronto Raptors near you. If I have it my way, it's Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, baby. But
would you throw in that? Would you throw in 19 for that then instead of 31? If you put 19 and 31 in there, I think you can actually get that deal done. But
I think that's too much considering, look, as much as I think Cam Johnson would be a nice fit on this team, he also doesn't play very much. He's hurt a lot. That's, you know, you talk about he's going to take minutes from Grady. No. He's going to open up so many, like 40 games of starting for Grady every year. It's a perfect player development move. So yeah, 19 feels rich. I'd probably do like 31 and maybe like a future first, like maybe the Pacers one down the line that feels like it'll be less sexy, or you know, maybe you do the thing where you just kind of spam it with a bunch of seconds now that they have most of their seconds back in their control. You know, you could fine tune it, but
you know,
we've spent now like 9 minutes on this deal. Cam Johnson trade.
I'm actually completely out on this deal. Never mind.
We should end the podcast 2 minutes sooner.